Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Extra Innings. It's been a little bit, Dave.
Yeah, Joe, it's been about 4 weeks now, something like that.
Yes, we got a lot to get into. We got some teams have been playing well. Some teams have been crapping the bed. We got some big injuries in Major League Baseball. But I think I could speak for just about all Major League Baseball fans. Actually, let's say this. You could be a Braves fan, you could be a Phillies fan, you could be a Yankees fan, you could be a Mets fan. But most baseball fans were not fans of Angel Hernandez.
That is for sure, Joe.
Yes.
Are you surprised he's retiring? I mean, that came out of nowhere.
That I think that's probably one of those Johns where it was like somebody sat his ass down and was like, "Hey, Angel, how you feeling about retirement?" He's like, "Well, I'm not really sure. I think you really need to consider retiring." You know what I'm saying? Like, time to bounce, dude, because you blow.
So you think the whole league was excited when he said he was going to retire, Joe?
Oh my God! I think, yeah. That's like the one thing that could like unite all baseball fans. Like Mets, Mets and Yankees fans were probably like high-fiving each other. Phillies and Mets fans are like, "Yo, great job!" You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things where.
It's funny, Joe. You sit there and say that, and then I saw there. He said he was announced his retirement, and all I saw on Facebook was "Thank the Lord, thank you, Jesus," and everybody was like so excited. See you, Angel. So I get it. I mean, nobody's a fan of the guy. I understand, but I mean, he was an MLB umpire for a long time. So I mean, not the greatest, but still there.
Not the greatest is probably the nicest compliment you could give that guy.
That is true. He's had his ups and downs, that's for sure.
Yeah, and you think about it. I mean, really surprised because I mean, like usually the umpire. I mean, you almost have to go like blind to not be an umpire anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
So.
Hey, Joe, real quick.
Yeah.
When you're watching a game, okay, and I want for fans who are out there, I want your opinion too. If you're watching the show, and you see the box, that's the strike box, when they show where the ball is located and everything. Is that box really legit? I mean, I always had that question. Is it legit? Is it really like? I don't know. Like, I sometimes I have trouble with that. What do you think? I mean,
it's probably not 100% legit, but I would think it to be fair. I would think it would have to be pretty accurate. I mean, because imagine being an umpire and you're calling it and meanwhile you're being graded that you made a great call. And meanwhile, everybody watching the game's like, this dude blows. And meanwhile, you're like, dude, it was a strike. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly. I mean, there are times when the ball hits the corners. I'm thinking, maybe it's, up and down, it's that inside corner or outside corner. And, you're thinking, well, maybe it is a strike. Maybe it's not. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I have trouble with it. I have to be honest with it. So it's like, okay.
And then, of course, all right. So the Angel Hernandez retire was probably the biggest news. Well, not the biggest news, but that was probably the most uniting news. And then, of course, to something that's a real damn shame. Ronald Acuna with tore his ACL the other day.
Yep.
And I hate seeing that. I mean, obviously you and I are Phillies fans, but he plays for Atlanta. But in general, I just hate seeing great players get hurt, and and I don't like there being. I don't like there being like quote unquote excuse. You know what I'm saying? Like you want all these teams to be at their best and watch the great players, and then if you win, then there's no y'all won just because Acuna's out. You know what I'm saying?
Right, and I get what you're saying. It's a shame. Did you actually see the injury, Joe?
It looked like a non-contact injury.
Yeah, he was pivoting. He was trying to go back to the bag, and he was on second, and he was leading to third, and he turned. He went one way, his leg went the other. Next thing you know, he was down for the count. But my thing was, Joe, honestly, when I watched it 2 or 3 times, he did walk on his own power back to the dugout. So I didn't think it was as bad as it looked. But apparently it was. Apparently it was. I mean, it just didn't look to me like it was that bad.
Yeah, I got a couple comments. John Michael says Ray Charles called Angel the best stump he's ever seen. And then also John Michael agreeing with me, saying that I want to kick Atlanta's ass at their absolute best. It's a shame, and the kid is a hell of a player. Totally agree. Although I agree 1,000,000,000%. Although we do have to caution, though, as Phillies fans, if you remember the last time Acuna got hurt and was out for the year, the Atlanta Braves won the World Series.
You know, that's hysterical. That's funny you should say that, because I was talking to a friend of mine who's a big Braves fan this morning, and he was telling me the same thing you just said, and I was like, what are the chances of that happening twice, though? You know.
Well, if I was as good as Acuna is, them losing Strider is probably the bigger, because they lost their number one starter.
Right. I mean, they lost their number one starter. They lost their number one right fielder. It's like, it's a shame, because I mean, Acuna is fun. To me, Joe, he's fun to watch. I mean, stealing bases, and I mean, he's just that good, you know. And that's a big loss for Atlanta.
Yeah, he's one of the best players in the game. I mean, I got John Michael says agree, but with Strider out, that's asking a lot.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
But
I mean, their best pitcher right now is Freed. I mean, that's about all they. I mean,
well, Chris Sale is pretty good for them. But the thing about Chris Sale is, you know, Chris Sale's always one injury away from being out of there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, Chris Sale has had injury problems the last few years. He's not getting any younger. So it'll be interesting to see what the Braves do at the trade deadline. I mean, I gotta think that when the trade deadline comes, that the Atlanta Braves will be very interested in shopping.
Well, I think the Braves need another arm. To be honest with you, that's definitely what they definitely need, another arm. And plus, I really feel that I was going to say, right now they're only 6 backs from the Phillies. So I mean, right now, I mean, it's not like they're they're still actually playing well for what the guys that they've lost. You know.
Well, yeah, I mean that's one thing we have to keep in perspective. I mean, we'll get into the standings here, but like, you know, I mean, the Philadelphia Phillies off to an unbelievable start. I mean, the Phillies, 38-17. I mean, 7-3 in their last 10, and they were hit a little speed bump in Colorado. You know, lost 2 or 3 to Colorado. You know, lost yesterday. Taiwan Walker didn't pitch too well, so but that's going to happen. But just to keep it to your point, Dave. I mean, the Phillies are 6 games up, but they're only 4 up in the loss column.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So if Braves, in theory, if the Braves win those games, those, whatever that is, those 2 less games that they played or whatever it is, we're 4 up on the loss column, and there's a lot of season left. I mean,
July, we're June, July, August, September. We have so much to go, Joe. We really do.
Yeah. John Michael said, let's give them Taiwan Walker. That'll really screw them.
Actually, it was the friend that I was talking to this morning. He was talking about Trevor Bauer. Remember that guy that got the sexual scandal about a few years ago?
Listen, what? This may sound a little controversial, but the bottom line is, though, wasn't he? I know by most accounts he's like a lot of people say he's a real prick, but like I heard he was found like innocent of that, and the guy can spin the ball. I mean, if I'm a Braves fan, I'm bringing him in, dude. You could bring him in. No one else wants him. You could bring him in on like a vet minimum contract, and you might get a steal.
Would be a bad thing.
I mean, I would bring him in. Hey, you know what? Let's keep it real, man. When you're trying to win ball games, I could overlook a guy being a prick. You know what I mean?
Hey, sometimes you have to.
What's that saying? What did Rocky say? It ain't all sunshines and rainbows out there, right, Dave?
That the world meets somebody halfway, Joe.
You know what I'm saying? We're looking for dubs,
This is true. This is true.
Yeah, so we'll get into the standings here. I just wanted to touch on some of these league leaders here. I mean, I got
it's amazing.
All right, so like you look at the batting, like you got the first place Dodgers. I mean, I'm looking here. You got batting leaders. Shohei Ohtani. He goes to LA. He's hitting 336.
Is that amazing, Joe? I mean, he doesn't skip a beat. This kid. It's amazing. It's like he just keeps going.
Then you got Mookie Betts hitting 335. So I mean, the numbers wise, Dodgers guys are absolutely killing it. You got Ranger Suarez of the Phillies with 9 wins. And also a 1.75 ERA. So he's really killing it.
Yep.
And then you know what's funny? The last time we did this show, I think we did this show about 3 weeks ago. Remember how we were saying the Yankees were kind of winning and kind of in spite of Aaron Judge, because Aaron Judge was off to a bad start.
Guess who picked it up, Joe?
Dude, I'm looking right here. Home run leaders. You got Kyle Tucker of the Astros with 18.
Yep.
Aaron Judge right there, 17. And then
17.
And then you got Gunnar Henderson, 17. And then a guy from Atlanta, with Acuna out, you got Marcell Ozuna with 15. So Marcell Ozuna, 15 homers, 47 RBIs, and then you got Alec Bohm of the Phillies with 47 RBIs. So
it's so funny you say that, Joe, because going back to Marcell Ozuna, I mean, we're talking Braves a lot of it today, but he's keeping them. He's actually keeping them in this fight here in this division. I mean, the way he's playing right now.
Yeah, well, actually, to your point, here's our man Paul Spencer. He says Strider hurts the most. Ozuna is killing it this year. They should be invested all over trades this season. Yeah, because And the one thing we've noticed, I mean, especially as Phillies fans the last couple of years, winning the National League East doesn't guarantee you anything.
No.
So say the Phillies have this historic season over 162. Phillies are on a pace for what, like 115 wins, something like that. It don't mean shit once you get to the NLDS, So
right.
if I'm if I'm Atlanta, and we'll, if you look at these standings, I mean, one concern that I have is that, there may be a team, that's barely at 500 or below 500 that gets into the playoffs this year. I mean,
there's always one, Joe. You know that.
Well, the league is very top heavy. I mean, you look here, you got teams like the Phillies, the National League in particular. You got teams like the Phillies, the Braves. Milwaukee Brewers are playing good ball, and you got the Dodgers playing good ball, right? Everyone else is either at 500 or they're below 500.
Yeah, Joe, it's funny you should say that, because I mean, I'm looking at the standings as you're talking to me, and the San Francisco Giants right now have won what I think I want to say 8 out of their last 10. They're 8-2 out of the last 10. And what woke them up all of a sudden? I mean, they're only 5 games behind the Dodgers.
Yeah, they're something got them up. I don't know.
I'm just saying. I mean, and they're actually 1 game over 500. I mean, this West we thought the Dodgers were going to run away with it, but all of a sudden, it's not what we thought. I mean, the West is still open for grabs. I mean, think about it. San Diego's only 5 games behind too, so they're still in it.
Yeah, didn't the Doors say the West is the best?
Yeah, that is correct. Yeah.
All right. Well, the West. I mean, the West has some good teams out there. I mean, you got Diamondbacks are off to kind of a bad start, 25-28. But the bottom line is, I mean, they got a lot of talent on that team. The only team out there that sucks balls is the Rockies.
Yeah, well, 19-34. But
yeah. Here's another general baseball story here. Paul Spencer says, can we talk about the Pirates' Paul Skeens? Heat, 100 miles per hour pitch. I mean, dude,
how many games does the kid pitch the last week? What, 2, 3?
Well, he's pitched 3, but he's been pretty dominant though.
Oh, I'm not saying he has it, but I'm just saying he's only pitched 3 games. So I mean, you can't really, go off of that, too much.
I get it now. I get it. It'll be interesting to see what happens when when the league sees him again. But his stuff is just filthy. I mean,
it is nasty.
Here's his 3 starts here. So altogether, he's got 16 innings pitched. He's given up 12 hits, 4 runs. He's got 21 strikeouts in 16 innings, 2.25 ERA. But I mean, the one game against the Cubs, I think he had a no-hitter through 5 innings or whatever with 11 Ks. I mean, he was just mowing them down.
Well, I think once teams get film on him, they'll figure him out.
Well, like you said, of course that'll help. But a great arm's a great arm, and the Pirates have that other guy. I mean, I'm looking here. The Pirates are they're 4 games under 500, but the Pirates have what's that other pitcher's name? I think his name is Jacoby Jared Jones of the Pirates.
Jared Jones. Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So, if I'm a Pirates fan here, I mean, I got a future of Paul Skeens and this kid, Jared Jones. I mean, I'm looking right here. In his last 30 innings, Jared Jones has struck out 31 batters, only walked 5. And he's posted a 2.70 ERA. So if you're a Pirates fan out there and and you're going forward with those two guys, and then they have another pitcher, isn't his name Keller or something?
I have to look that up. I think so. Yes.
Yeah. So, the bottom line is, if you're a Pirates fan, you might have a little bit of a bright future with some of these kids,
With those 3 starters that you're saying, yeah, it looks like they do. That kid Skeens is definitely he's gonna be for real. But like I said, once people get tape on him, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, but think about it like this, Dave. People have had a lot of tape on Garrett Cole, and he's been effective. You know what I mean? Like
this
Zach,
is true.
Like look at Zach Wheeler, man. I mean, Zach Wheeler's thrown a lot of innings, and he still gets got. You know what I'm saying? So,
I mean, go back to Zach Wheeler, Joe. Are you surprised? I mean, this blows my mind on Zach Wheeler. Why did the Mets get rid of him? I still can't figure that out.
Injury concerns.
Is that what it was?
When Zach Wheeler pitched in New York, he was really effective. I think the second half of his last year there, but I think they were concerned that maybe that was just an anomaly because he had a lot of injury concerns. And I'll tell you, the Phillies were really lucky because if you remember in that offseason, the Phillies were looking at who the hell's that lefty that the Nationals signed? I can't remember. I'm drawing a blank. But there was a left-handed pitcher that was a free agent that the Nationals signed, and the Phillies were looking at him. And thank God he didn't want to come. I think the Nationals signed him like a 7-year deal, and then the Phillies wound up with Zach Wheeler, which turned out to be a phenomenal sign.
Oh, he's been absolutely outstanding for the Phillies. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from Wheeler. I was just trying to figure out why the Mets why would you get rid of a pitcher like that, knowing how good he is. I mean, I know he's injured, but I know he was injured at the time, but still, I mean, you give him time to heal. I mean,
Yeah, I'm trying to find this guy's name. Patrick Corbin.
Oh, Corbin. Okay. Gotcha.
Patrick Corbin was his name. Yeah. Because I remember being on the internet. Maybe I was listening to sports radio or it was on the internet or whatever. And they had a picture of Patrick Corbin in a Phillies uniform. And at the time, I think he was coming off a really good year with Arizona, and it was like, oh, maybe Corbin's not a bad sign. And boy, and it's funny. Sometimes the moves that you don't make are like the best move. You know what I mean? Like it's like
that's true. Yeah, exactly.
Corbin, and next thing you know, they get Wheeler, and it's like you go forward with Wheeler and Nola, and things really worked out.
I mean, Wheeler, Nola, Ranger. It's a good three combination right there. It really is. I mean,
yeah. What do you think of this? Paul Spencer says he's worried about Paul Skeens. I'm worried about him blowing the arm out too early, Jared Jones. Oh, he's worried about blowing Jared Jones blowing the arm out early. And then I'd be worried about Skeens too because, the human arm's not really conditioned to throw that fast.
Right.
Mitch Keller is the guy's name. I was right. So he's their third. So you think about it. I mean, you're going forward with 3 starters of Skeens, Jones, and Keller. Not bad. If Pirates could get some hitting, not a bad team.
No, I'm not saying they're not bad. I mean, they're sitting 4th in division right now.
Yeah, well, they're not quite ready to win.
I mean, not quite yet. No, I think Milwaukee's taking that division. To be honest with you, Joe.
Well, yeah, Milwaukee that division. I mean. That division's up there for the taking. I mean,
Chicago's only 4.5.
The whole division's separated by 7.5 games.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, are you surprised Cincinnati fell a little bit?
Yeah, I am. I picked them to win the division.
Yeah, you did. Yep.
Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, well, from what I understand, I think Cincinnati had some injuries. They have a little bit injury problems. But what's his face? I'll tell you what, Dela Cruz is playing well, though.
Dela Cruz is playing really well. Yep. He's killing it.
He's got 31 stolen bases already.
It's amazing. It's sick.
I don't know what that's on a pace for. You figure 31 steals by Memorial Day. I mean, Christ, that's almost like Vince Coleman like.
Well, definitely. I mean, what did Acuna had last year? He was the leader. I mean, I don't know what he had this point last year, but
I think he had over 100, right?
Yeah, something like that. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I think he had some crazy stat where he had like, I think he was like 40 some homers, 100 steals, and 40 doubles or some shit like that. It was really nuts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Tell you another guy that's having a really good year, and we'll get into this team too. Remember last year, I shit all over the AL Central.
Yes, you did.
AL Centrals is really strong this year, and guy Jose Ramirez of Cleveland. Jose Ramirez, you look at him, he's got 15 home runs and he's got 54 RBIs.
15 home runs. Actually, this kid's on fire right now. He's playing really well. I'm shocked in this division, Joe. Who's the one team in this division that's shocking you?
Kansas City Royals.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah, Kansas City Royals. They're well, it's funny because they're 8-2 in their last 10, but you got the and it must be frustrating for them because they're playing so well, but the Guardians are 9-1.
Joe, does Kansas City continue this, or do they fall off, or what do you think? What do you think is going to happen with them?
I'm afraid to say it because last year the Pirates were playing pretty good at this time, and then I put them in the top 10, and next thing you know, they totally shit the bed. And Paul Spencer made it a point to tell me, like, dude, you jinxed the Pirates. So I don't know. I mean, the Royals do have some good young talent, and they also have, like I said, like they got Bobby Witt Jr.'s killing it.
That kid's killing it.
How would you like to be a Mets fan, right? And then you got to look at Seth Lugo with 8 wins, former Met Seth Lugo, 8 wins, and he also has a 1.74 ERA. And if you're a Mets fan, you're like, damn, dude, we suck. And Seth Lugo's got 8 wins. What the fuck?
1.74 ERA, Joe. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean. But
but if you look at Rangers Suarez, he's 1.75, so it's like right there, Yeah,
the kid from the Cubs has a great ERA. I don't know why he's not on this. I'll have to look him up. The kid from the Cubs, the Japanese kid.
Yes,
I think he's got the best ERA, but for some reason he's not on my top.
Well, that kid Reese Olson has a 1.92 ERA for the Tigers. I mean, as bad as they are.
Well, the Tigers actually are a little better than we thought, though. They're only a game under 500. I mean, they're ready to throw with as bad as the Tigers have been, being 1 under 500 after Memorial Day. They're ready to throw a parade down Detroit.
Well, they're 9.5 out still, Joe. I mean, I get it, but
isn't that nuts, dude?
I still think Minnesota is still in this division. It's crazy to say. I mean, I know they're 6.5 out right now, and Kansas City's 2.5 out, but I've been saying Minnesota is going to go on a run. And what are they? I think they're 5-5 in their last 10. So,
yeah. Here's the guy, Shota Imanjana.
I can't even say his name.
Imanjana. Yeah, this is what I don't. Yeah, I don't know why he's not on here. So I'm looking at his stats. He's 5-0 with a .84 ERA, 53.2 innings pitched, 58 strikeouts.
It's crazy.
I mean, that dude's fucking killing it, bro.
Yes, he is.
Paul Spencer says Cubs Shota Imanjana.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, the batters aren't getting a good image of the pitches because they can't hit shit.
Nope.
Who knows what he's who knows what he's doing up there? But he's absolutely crushing people. You know what I'm saying?
It's funny, like right now I'm looking at strikeouts and like Tyler Glasnow has 95 strikeouts. Is that crazy, Joe?
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, he was a big time acquisition by the Dodgers, and losing him really hurt Tampa Bay. You know what I mean? Like Tampa, he was such an important cog in Tampa Bay's rotation, and he I
mean, him going to the Dodgers, that's huge for them.
Yeah, but he had a lot of injuries, and I'll tell you, when I think of injuries, man, I think of my man Jason Fine, a.k.a. Attorney Big Al. Motor vehicle accidents, slip and fall, workers' compensation, or personal injury claims. I mean, Dave, if one of us get hurt, he's the guy to call. Tyler Glasnow didn't have to call him, though. He was Tyler Glasnow. I don't think he had trouble making ends meet with what he makes. What do you think?
I don't think so either, Joe.
Yeah, so he don't have to call Jason Fine, but if you get hurt out there and you're in the Pennsylvania area or New Jersey area, he's got 3 offices throughout PA and New Jersey. He's got 1 in Philadelphia, PA, 1 in Cherry Hill, 1 in Pittsburgh, PA. So make sure you check that out. The other one is, if you're a coffee drinker out there, you stay up. Well, what time's the Phillies on tonight? Like 9:50?
I want to say 9:45.
Okay. See, I won't be staying up for that game as much as I'd like to. I won't be because I got an early day tomorrow. But if you do and you got to wake up the next day, make sure you get yourself some Monkey's Cold Coffee. It's best coffee in the land. You could use the promo code OOTBS Sports at monkeycoldcoffee.com. They got the newest flavor, honey agave, and barrel-aged honeys. Make sure you check them out. So, but
get your Monkey Cold Coffee, Joe, because we got the Phillies tonight, 9:45. I think it's 9:45. So
yeah, well, like I said, I won't be. I mean, I say that, but who knows? I might be up. We'll see.
Joe Pez down to 6th inning.
Probably. Hang on a second. This is a good one. Paul Spencer said there's no love for the Asians on the leaderboards.
Sorry, bro. No love for the Asians.
Well, you know what, Paul? I think the fix might have been in because I think Shohei Ohtani's interpreter has Seth Lugo as a bet on Seth Lugo being at the top. And I think the fix is in. You know what I'm saying, bro?
Right. Well, he says that with WWE wrestlers too. Asians get no love, so come on.
Paul Spencer here. He says, "What's your thoughts? August 26th, Barry Bonds inducted to the Pirates Hall of Fame. Fans are 50-50 up here. I'll be there that day.
Well deserved.
I don't know why they'd be 50-50. I mean, the bottom line is the last time the Pirates were consistent. Well, that's not true. They were pretty good with McCutchen, but the last time I really think of the Pirates being good, it was with the Killer Bees: Barry Bonds, Bobby Bonilla, Jay Bell, Andy Van Slyke. Who was the catcher? Mike Lavon, Jose Means. They were good Pittsburgh teams.
I think Tony Pena when you say catcher for Pittsburgh.
Well, LaValliere was the catcher for that team. He was a left-handed hitting slow white guy.
Phillies had a closer back in. I'm sorry, Pirates had a closer back in the day, Joe. He was actually a Philly. Do you know who that guy was?
Well, the guy on that team was Stan Belinda, but you're probably thinking of Kent DeColvey.
That is correct, Kent DeColvey. Yep, number 27.
Former Philly Kent DeColvey too.
That is true. Yep.
You know what's
funny? I was watching Braves Pirates the other day, right? And they actually showed a guy wearing a Kent DeColvey shirt. I was like, where did that come from? I mean, I don't think anybody knows who Kent DeColvey is. Like, if you're, this generation,
You know what's funny? I'm not a Pirates fan, but I have no hatred towards the Pirates. Now if this was the late 70s, I probably would because they were huge. Phillies Pirates used to be a big rivalry, but
it was Dave Parker back in the day.
Yeah, but the last 30 years it hasn't been. So
no,
you're tempting me to go get a Kent DeColvey jersey, a sick ass John. You know what I'm saying?
Go get that Kent DeColvey. Actually, get a Kent DeColvey Phillies jersey, Joe. There you go.
Yeah, I don't know if we could find that though.
Good luck.
I know. You know what Phillies jersey? I've been trying to find a Von Hayes Phillies jersey, but I can't find one anywhere. I know Von Hayes wasn't the most popular because everybody breaks his balls and says 5 for 1.
Yep.
But being a kid, the first few years of my fandom, it was Mike Schmidt and Von Hayes were the only two dudes we had, and then Juan Samuel, who was decent but he used to strike out all the time. And then we traded him for Dykstra. And then we were, you know what I mean? So,
well, didn't Von Hayes coach the Lancaster Barnstormers at one time?
That I don't know.
I think he was a coach. I think he was a coach for the Barnstormers for I think maybe 1 or 2 seasons he was there. He
may have, but yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. But I personally, if I was a Pirates fan, I would be happy to honor Barry Bonds. Paul Spencer says tickets have tripled for that day. Usually they buy a seat, get in a whole row for free. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, you got to figure if you are one of those Pirates fans and you don't give a shit about Barry Bonds, you'd have to sell them Johns.
Sure. When is that date?
August 26th.
My anniversary. Perfect.
There you go. And by the way, you mentioned Dave Parker. It's sad. I didn't know this, but I saw a video with Dave Parker. Apparently, he's got he has what the hell's he got? Parkinson's or something.
Oh, really?
Sad.
I didn't know that.
I felt bad for him. I don't know why I saw the video. It was on TikTok or something, but somebody or maybe it was X, I forget, but somebody was showing they were honoring Dave Parker, and he was sitting there with Parkinson's. I was like, oh man, because dude, I mean, you talk about a guy that could park a ball. Was Dave Parker?
Dave Parker could hit a ball a mile. He really could.
He had a great arm too. I remember I remember hearing stories of Dave Parker gunning people out from deep in the outfield.
Well, I remember back in the day. I mean, when Phillies used to play the Pirates, here comes Tug out of the dugout. He'd be going against the Pirates, going against their top performers, Poor Tug. It was a shame because every time Tug would get rocked every time he come out there.
Yeah, that was a good rivalry. But anyway, what do you say? What do you say we get into these standings here? Let's break down these standings.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, so let's. Where do you want to start? West to East or East to West?
Let's go West to East, Joe.
All right. So we'll start off with the American League West. Really interesting division. Now, last year, you can make the argument that the AL West, well, most people would say the AL East in the regular season, but if you go by the playoffs and the regular season, the AL West was probably the strongest division. I mean, shit, you had Texas beating the Astros in 7 games to get to the World Series, and you had the world champion Rangers. So,
well, I'm looking at this division, Joe, and I see right now. I mean, I know the Phillies did the Phillies just sweep the Rangers in 3?
They did, yes.
Okay, so I'm looking at this division, and I see within 4.5, it's Houston, Texas, Seattle. It's open right now with those 3. It's anybody's at this game at this point.
Yeah, I mean, if you're an Astros fan, you are thanking your lucky stars that nobody's pulled away with this division because, even with the Stros struggling, they got that championship pedigree. I still think as the season goes on, that if they get their shit together and they sneak in, they could be a tough out.
They could, and that's the thing. I mean, that's the kind of team that Astros could get hot at the right time, and who knows,
Yeah, and right. I mean, they've been in the playoffs so much, right? Regular season really don't mean dick to them anymore. I mean, for instance, look at their series versus the Rangers. The road team won every single game.
Yeah. Yep.
So, All right. So we're looking here. Your Seattle Mariners are in first place, 29-26, 5-5 in their last 10. Then you got no
2-game winning streak, Joe. 2-game winning streak.
Huh. No one else is over 500. You got the Rangers, 25-29, 3-7 in their last 10, including getting their ass kicked
by the Phils
last week.
Yep.
Astros 24-30, 4.5 out, 5-5 in their last 10. But like we said, if I'm a team in the American League, I want no parts of the Astros getting in the playoffs. So I am especially with the guys like Kyle Tucker with 18 home runs. You know what I mean?
That Astro team could be a wild card, Joe. Never know.
Then you got the Oakland A's, 22-33. They're only 7 games out, 3-7 in their last 10. Tell you what, the A's aren't nearly as shitty as I thought they were going to be.
Well, as they were last year. Remember, they were horrible last year, so they're a lot better this year.
And the A's will be an interesting story because they have that closer, Miller, and there's going to be a lot of teams around the deadline that are, he could be an X factor. A team adds a young killer arm like that. That's the kind of guy that can make a big difference in a playoff push. And
once again, Trout is injured, and the Angels are back to where they are. It's a shame because I feel so bad for this Angels team because Trout it's every time he gets hurt, they always fall. It's a shame. I feel bad. I really do.
Yeah, I mean the Angels 20-33, 8 games out, 5-5 in their last 10. So they've been playing 500 ball their last 10 games, but I mean, and and they're a team too that has a pretty high payroll. I mean that owner that owner must want to charter a plane and put like and remember Castaway?
Yes, I've seen it.
That owner probably wants to charter a plane and like drop off dudes like Rendon. You know what I mean? Just like put him on the island and have him hang out with Wilson. You know what I'm saying? Because he's paying a lot of money for like like he ain't getting shit on his investment.
No, not at all. Nope.
So
I mean, he lost his best player, Joe. What are you gonna do? Yeah.
That division kind of blows. Now we go.
Honestly, Joe, I think it's a three-way race there, though. Like we said before, like Seattle, Texas, Houston. That's definitely a three-way race with those three.
It is, and even though none of those teams are playing that great, all three of those teams I feel like are good enough to get hot. If they do get in the playoffs, they are good enough to make a problem for somebody. I totally agree.
Mm-hmm. I agree. The one team you don't want to see get hot is the Astros.
Yeah. So then you got American League Central. Now this is the division that we shit on. Well, me in particular, I shit on all last.
It's actually better than you thought this year. That's for sure.
This division's really good. You got the Guardians, 36-18. They're in first. They're 9-1 in their last 10. Then you got the Royals, 34-21. They're 2.5 out. 8-2 in their last 10. I mean, the Royals they're striking up memories of George Brett and Dan Quisenberry and Frank.
Yep.
UL Washington with the toothpick. You know what I'm saying? I mean, these young Royals those people out there in KC must be pretty excited.
I would be. I mean, come on. I'm in second place in the Central. I mean, I've been living in the last place for a while, so why would not? I mean, I'd be going to the games if I was a Royals fan.
And you know what? I mean, yeah, and even if their baseball team did suck, I don't exactly feel bad for them. I mean, they got Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, gee,
guaranteed a title every year, Joe.
Yeah, what a hardship, you know. All right, so then you got Minnesota Twins, 29-24. 6.5 out. They're 5-5 in their last 10.
Playing 500 ball, Joe.
Yeah, not bad. Detroit Tigers, 26-27, 9.5 out, 5-5 in their last 10. And like we said, I mean, the way they've been terrible the last number of years, I mean, they're ready to have a party in Detroit.
Party time in Detroit, in the Motor City, Joe.
And then you got the White Sox, 15-40. I mean, This isn't the Ozzie Guillen, Frank Thomas. You know, this is it's almost like they got it's almost like those guys are getting banged up in Kevin V's bar before they go out and play.
Yeah, it's a shame. Yeah, 15-40. What are they, 1-9 the last 10 games, Joe? That's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's like you got Lip Gallagher up there trying to hit the ball after getting all banged up. Shit just ain't working, bro.
No.
Tough times in the South Side. As if you don't already have tough time. In the South Side, you know, it's not a little rough out there. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and I'll say right now, John, this is actually this division is a three-horse race too. If you think about it, I mean, between Cleveland, Kansas City, Minnesota. I mean, I'm kind of counting Detroit out at this point, 9.5 out. But if I had to say, I mean, Cleveland could win it. I mean, that's what it looks like right now. But don't count out the Royals, Joe. They're still alive. They're still in there.
Nah, it's early. It's early. Like you said, it's anybody's race. So let's go to the American League East. You got New York Yankees, 37-18, 73 in their last 10.
I'm sure Eileen's loving that, Joe.
Playing great ball, and that's without Derek Cole.
Garrett Cole, yeah.
So obviously the lineup with Soto and Judge, you know, was absolutely killing it. But the Yankees have a rookie. Hang on, let me find this kid. I believe his name is Luis Gil. I'll find him.
Hey, Joe, Judge 17 and counting.
What's that?
It's a Judge hitting 17 and counting.
Yeah, so let me tell you about this guy, Luis Gil, 25 years old, 35 innings pitched. He's got a 1.80 ERA in his last 6 starts. He's got 42 strikeouts. So, you know, with the loss of Garrett Cole, this young guy is really stepping it up. He's pitching well, and then he's played a big role in the Yankees' success.
He has.
Also, Clay Holmes, their closer. Clay Holmes has pitched extremely well. He has
Clay Holmes has 15 saves, Joe.
There you go, 15 saves. Okay, yeah, I was looking for that.
I'm on it.
Yankees playing great ball. You got Baltimore Orioles with all that young talent. Baltimore Orioles are right up their ass. They're 34-18. They're 1.5 out. They're 6-4 in their last 10. So
yeah,
that's anybody's division. And of course, the Orioles are led by you got Gunnar Henderson, 17 home runs.
Is this kid killing it, Joe, or what?
Great young talent. You got the catcher. Why am I drawing a blank? The catcher. What the fuck's his name?
Catcher for the.
Yeah, it begins with an A. I'm drawing a blank. Hang on. Phone. Isn't it like at?
I'm looking it up now. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say Abby Rushman. Addy Rushman. That's it.
I believe that's correct.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say. I was like, I can't believe I can't think of this kid's name. But yeah, they're cat. And ever since they called him up 2 years ago because the Orioles were, the Orioles. A lot of people are comparing the Orioles to the start of the Astros run. Remember the Astros started their run like 2014, 2015. I think they started making the playoffs. And then
Adley Rutschman is his name.
There you go. Yeah. And then 2016. Then all of a sudden, by 2017, the Astros started. They won their first World Series. A lot of people are projecting the Orioles to have that leap, and they still may. The only problem for the Orioles is they got the New York Yankees in their division, and the Yankees have two bona fide superstars, and if Garrett Cole comes back, one of the top, we'll see if he comes back, but he's one of the top pitchers in baseball as well. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I know what you're rooting for in October or November, I should say. I know exactly what you're rooting for in November.
What's that?
Phillies, Orioles.
Yeah, or Phillies. Well, yeah, exactly. Yep. Exactly. Then I got the Boston Red Sox, 27-27.
500, Joe. They are a 500 ball club. That's what they are. That's just what they are.
Yeah, they're 9.5 out, 5-5 in their last 10. The Red Sox have kind of, they're hanging in there a little bit. Like you said, they're 500. They've been kind of they've been helped by some young players here. Let me find this kid. They have an outfielder. By the name of Wilber Abreu. He's been playing well. He's 24 years old. He's driven in 15 runs, 4 homers. He's got a rookie leading 10 doubles. He was acquired in the Christian Vasquez trade in 2022. So he's hit 296 with a 910 OPS in 29 games. So Wilber Abreu has been a guy that's been playing extremely well for the Red Sox.
Yeah, well, I think it's Wilyer Abreu. I think it's what it's called.
Oh, Wilyer. I'm sorry.
Wilyer. Yeah, Wilyer.
Well, whatever. Either way, he's helping them. Wilyer. I'll give him his props. It's Wilyer. He's playing well.
Wilyer Abreu. Yep. Any relation to Bobby?
If there was, then there would be anytime a ball gets hit to the wall, there'd be like a moat. Remember Bobby Abreu didn't like going to the wall.
This is true.
He was the opposite of Aaron Rowans. Remember Aaron Rowan ran into the wall?
Yeah, I hit the cage. Yep.
Yeah, Bobby Abreu didn't like walls, dude.
Bobby wasn't that guy, but he was on the field when Aaron Rowan got hurt.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was before he got traded. It was 2016.
Yep.
I mean, 2006.
2006. Yep.
It feels like 2016. Time goes by so freaking quick.
It goes fast. It really does. No doubt.
We got the Tampa Bay Rays, 26-28, 10.5 out, 4-6 in their last 10. Rays are usually, it's funny. Usually this time last year. God, I'm sorry.
They're usually top of this division normally.
Yeah, this time last year they were cooking on all cylinders, but the Tyler Glasnow trade is kind of hurt them. Some of their guys that were killing it last year aren't quite playing as well. So,
yep.
And then you have well, actually, you know what? This is ironic. So then you got the Toronto Blue Jays, 24-29, 12.
I'm disappointed in them, Joe. I really am.
Yeah, me too, because they got a lot of talent. But in all fairness to the Blue Jays, they're just in the wrong division.
Yeah, that's all it is.
If you look, they have the same. If they were in the AL West, then they're right. They're right there. You know what I mean? Because the Blue Jays are pretty much right there with the Astros and the Rangers. But you're the AL East, and you're already 12 back.
Yeah, it's 12 back, 5-5 in the last 10, Joe.
Yeah, so that's the that's the American League. Now
the American League is so much stronger than National League. It's amazing.
You think so?
I do. Yep.
All right, you know what it is? Actually, yeah, you're right. It is because that's because the AL Central's stronger.
Yeah.
I was going to say, well, you know what it is? Actually, as a whole, the American League is stronger. But I would argue that 3 of the 5 best teams in all baseball are in the National League, though.
Well, right now, right? Yeah, I agree.
Because I would go Yankees, Baltimore, top 2 teams in the AL. Then maybe the Guardians, maybe just because their record. But then in the National League, you got Philadelphia, Atlanta, and the Dodgers. Like Philadelphia.
Dodgers. Well, don't count Milwaukee out. Don't count Milwaukee out either, Joe.
Milwaukee. Milwaukee's playing decent ball, but I'm not. I'm putting. If I'm doing it, I think Milwaukee's like 7 or 8. If I'm. You know what I mean? Like we didn't put our power rankings up, but I'm doing like Philadelphia, Dodgers, Atlanta, Yankees, Baltimore, like not in that particular order, but like, their top 5, Indians maybe 6, Milwaukee possibly 7. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I agree.
All right, so let's get to this West here. You got LA Dodgers 33-22. They're only 4-6 in their last 10, but
actually 34-22, Joe. That's okay.
What are they?
They're 34-22.
Oh, what they play? Did they play earlier today? I just printed.
They might have, but I have it 34-22.
Okay, then maybe they played this afternoon. All right, cool. Yeah, because I printed this at like 10:30 in the morning. All right, 34-22. And they have the lead. Their lineup is really killing it. With Ohtani and Mookie Betts and.
Well, they're only 5-5 in the last 10, Joe.
Yeah. So, then you got the San Francisco Giants, 28-27. They're 5 games out, but they're 8-2 in their last 10. So the Giants
8-2 last 10. Yeah,
they made some pay.
Hey, no Gaby baby, Joe.
What's that?
No Gaby baby.
I know, right? Then you got the Padres, 29-28. They're 6-4 in their last 10, so they're not playing bad.
Do they miss Soto, Joe, or what?
Oh, well, how could you not? The guy's a great player.
Exactly. Yep.
Then you got the Diamondbacks, 25-28, 7 games out, 5-5 in their last 10. That Diamondbacks team is pesky. I am not after last year, what they did to us, I am not willing to write them off just yet. I still think that team.
You think they have life, Joe?
Huh?
You think they have life?
I do. Yeah. I do, because there's something that, I saw enough out of them last year where like they may need to add a bat or something like that, but I wouldn't count them out.
Yeah, I wouldn't count Arizona out either, to be honest. They're 5-5 in their last 10. So.
Then you got the Colorado Rockies, 19-34. They're 4-6 in their last 10, 13 games out.
Joe, think of it this way. God forbid, okay? God forbid the Rockies get hot, like, say, years to come, okay? And let's say the World Series is in Colorado and it snows in November. Would that be insane, Joe?
It would. Well, you remember they were in the World Series back in 2007, but luckily the weather wasn't that shitty. Right.
But I'm saying, but now the World Series is in November. It's not even October anymore.
I know. All right, so
it could be a snowstorm in Colorado, Joe.
yeah, so let's go. It could be. You're right. So let's go National League Central. We got your Milwaukee Brewers, 31-22, 5-5 in their last 10.
What's the story with Hoskins? He's still on 10-day deal.
I believe so, but I think he's getting ready to come off. I think.
Okay.
Chicago Cubs, 27-27. They're only 2-8 in their last 10, so they've been kind of a little bit.
Right.
They're 4.5 out. St. Louis Cardinals, 25-27, but they're 5.5 out, but they're 7-3 in their last 10.
Getting hot. Those Cardinals all of a sudden. I don't know what's going on with them, but
well, Paul Goldschmidt, I read, has like 3 homers in his last 2 games, so maybe his bat's heating up a little bit.
He's starting to feel it a little bit.
Maybe, and then you got the Pirates, 25-29, 6.5 out, 6-4 in their last 10, and like I said, they have those 2 really good young pitchers. So even though they're not quite ready to win, if you're a Pirates fan, at least you have a few nights to go out to the ballpark and actually feel like you got a shot to win.
And they still got cuts, Joe.
Yeah. Then you got the Cincinnati Reds, 24-30, 7.5 out, 5-5 in their last 10. In my opinion, the Reds are probably one of the most disappointing teams in the league so far, because I really was anticipating a little bit of a jump by them. But it's not seasons.
7.5 out, Joe.
Yeah, season's still young, Yep,
I agree.
All right, and now we get to the division with the team with the best record in Major League Baseball, the Philadelphia Phillies. Philadelphia Phillies, 38-17, 7-3 in their last 10, only 1-3 in their last 4, so they've hit a little bit of a snag.
Yeah.
But all in all, Phillies playing great ball. Alec Boehm has actually started to develop into one of the better young hitters in this game. I mean, Alec Boehm's got 47 RBIs.
It's insane.
He's a right now you'd have to say he's kind of a dark horse, and I don't think he has any shot of an MVP. But he'd be a dark horse candidate right now, just strictly on numbers. And then you got, of course, Bryce Harper's gotten a little hot. The one thing that concerns me about this Phillies team, though, is the outfield. I mean, Nick Castellanos, way too inconsistent. And
does he need a day off, Joe? Honestly, come on.
He needs something, man. Maybe he needs some glasses or something, because he swings at a lot of bad pitches, bro.
I mean, he plays every game, Joe. They don't give him a day off at all. It's ridiculous.
And I'll tell you, I know
you could put Whit Merrifield out there, couldn't you?
Whit Merrifield's really struggling too, though.
I'm saying, but he could play right field though for Castellanos a little bit here and there, right?
They may have to do. In my eyes, Philadelphia may need to add a bat. Not necessarily an everyday player bat, but they may need a bat at the deadline, because even Rojas, you know what I mean? Like Rojas hitting, I think, like 220 something, 230.
Yeah, but he's been hot with big guys on base though, Joe, lately. I mean, he's been hitting the ball with guys on, getting RBIs.
At times, but I still am concerned. Like, if you're in a big spot in the playoffs, like for instance, not to nitpick, because of course the team's playing great ball. It's 21 over 500, so I don't want to sit here and nitpick. You know what I mean?
No, of course not.
But case in point, Friday night, you got a guy on second base. Rojas, it drives me insane. All right. Nobody, it's 10th inning, guys on second base. Rojas tries to bunt him over, can't get the bunt down.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. If you're a guy like Johan Rojas and you're a 220 to 230 hitter with little power and you got a lot of speed, you need to learn you need to get a bunt down, dude. Like,
I agree.
Me, that's inexcusable. Like, that's the stuff that loses ball games. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. This is true.
So,
and with his speed, you would think getting the bunt down, he'd be there in first base with it, no problem.
Yeah. So that's the story on the Phillies. First place, you got the Atlanta Braves, 30-21, 6 games out, 4-6 in their last 10. Of course, we already touched on the Ronald Acuna injury.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with that. Then you got the Washington.
Big loss.
Yeah, then you got the Washington Nationals, 24-28, 12 and a half games out. They're 4-6 in their last 10. I'll tell you, to me, if I'm a Nationals fan, I know 24-28 is not like a great record, but if I'm a Nationals fan, I'm a little encouraged at the fact that they're starting to improve. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like the Nationals, they
you
have
can
some
see it
on that team.
Sure, you can see it. Absolutely, they're actually playing better. I mean, they're in third place in the division, and they have a future. There's no doubt about it. I mean, they
do. And the one thing about the Nationals, as we've seen in the past, when they feel like they're ready to win, that they will go out and spend some money.
Sure. Yep.
So right now, are they a concern in 2024? No. Are they a concern? Are they a concern even in 2025? Probably not. But as they get some more young talent and in 2 years' time or so, if they spend some money, they could be contenders again.
Well, how many years ago did they win the World Series, Joe? Like 3 or 4 or 5 years ago? Was it 3 or 4?
2019.
Okay, so they're still,
Ironically, it was Bryce Harper's first year here.
Right. Exactly.
Isn't that ironic? We bring Bryce Harper here, and then they
win the World Series. Yep.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm happy the Phillies.
Well, they had Zimmer too. Zimmer was a big part of that offense for them.
What's that?
They had Zimmer too, didn't they? Was he a big part of their offense?
You had Zimmerman. You had Juan Soto. Soto was
on
that
right?
team.
Yep. I mean, that team was actually pretty good.
Yeah,
and the funny part about that team was, Joe, if you remember correctly, going into the All-Star break, they were in like 3rd, 4th place.
I remember that.
Yep.
So then you got the New York Mets, 22-30, 14 and a half out.
What a disappointment.
What's that?
I said, what a disappointment for the Mets. I'm telling you.
3-7 in their last 10. I'll tell you the thing that's got to be the most disappointing for the Mets, though. That Edwin Diaz, their closer.
Yes.
Boy, I'll tell you, remember like a couple years ago, the whole stadium was like freaking out over that song and they were dancing and shit.
Well, he came out to the horns, Joe, remember?
Well, now they're like, man, this dude don't got it. Like, I don't know.
I think coming off he had injury too last year, Joseph. He was injured.
He was out for the year. I mean, that's.
I think that had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, if I didn't hate the Mets so much, maybe I'd feel a little bad for them. But
God forbid you do that, Joe.
I kind of don't. Then you got
you don't kind of don't. You don't.
He did. I have to admit though, that was a pretty cool song.
Well, he came out to the horns and he'd come out there. Everybody would be dancing and stuff. It was kind of like Wild Thing.
But now it's more fun though. Like, I'd like to watch him come out to the song and then the Phillies score a couple runs off him and then have them all be upset. That's even better. Then you get the nice song, but then you come back.
Hey, Joe, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What Philly is known as the Met Killer?
Wasn't it Pat Burrell?
That is correct. Thank you.
Well, Pat Burrell, in particular, he used to kill Billy Wagner.
Yes.
I remember that 2007 run. I know Burrell took him deep one night. I can't remember if I think they still were in.
It was in Shea Stadium, Joe.
Yeah, they still were in Shea in 2007. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, we got one more team to get to.
Joe, it's all about 5. Come on now.
I know, right? One more team here. We got the Miami Marlins, 19-36. They're 6-4 in their last 10.
Joe, isn't it amazing? Think about it this way. Go back to the Marlins. We're at the Marlins right now, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing right out to me how this guy, Arias, is still leading the league, but yet he's not with the Marlins anymore. Does that blow your mind?
I don't get. You know what? Hey, the Marlins have always been known to trade away their guys. So,
man, said 333, Joe.
Yeah, I hear you, bro. Who knows, man?
But the Marlins get rid of the dude. I don't understand it. I don't get it.
Well, I mean, they probably figure they're not going to win anything this year, so they'll just. By the way, speaking of the Marlins, did you see former Phillies prospect Sixto Sanchez that they traded for JT? He's struggling big time down there.
It happens.
I do kind of feel bad for that kid because he was supposed to be like a Pedro Martinez, and then he got
right.
then he got Tommy John surgery. It looked like I kind of feel bad for him. It looked like he ate Tommy John. He got really big, and he's struggling, bro. He's like a poor man's Bartolo Colon.
Wow.
Except my man Big Sexy though still pitched good.
Yes, he is. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, yeah.
I think your boy Fuji had a comment there, Joe.
Yeah, he did. Oh, let me pull that back up here. He what's up, fellas? What are the Braves going to do with the loss of Ronald Acuna? I mean, the Braves still have a good line. Even without Acuna, they still got a good lineup. I mean, they still could score 4 or 5 runs a game.
But Joe, they have a good farm system too, so they can bring up they can bring up some guys that I'm sure they have guys down the farm that are really good. So. Yeah,
they do, but like. I was reading because they brought up so many guys in the last like 3-4 years that that's good. I'm sure you're right. They always find a way to replenish their farm system, but they're in a little bit of a lull. It's not as strong as it normally is,
Right. Well, they need an arm too, definitely.
So well, yeah, that'll remain to be seen. But I'll tell you what though, if the Phillies don't win the East this year, then I with Acuna and Strider both out. Then I gotta say it's a major it's a major letdown and a major disappointment if they don't.
Well, not necessarily, Joe. Because you think about it, Phillies always do good in the wild card spot.
What's that?
I said not necessarily because every time the Braves win the division, Phillies always do well in the wild card.
Yeah, no, I get all that. I mean, I hear you. I hear you, Dave. Like honestly, like I would have been fine with the wild card again because the Phillies are used to making that move. But I'm saying. What I'm saying to you, though, is sitting here on May 28th with a 6-game lead and a team that lost their Ronald Acuna and their best pitcher. If you're the Philadelphia Phillies with the payroll the Phillies got, if you don't win the NL East, I think it's a major, major, major letdown.
I agree. Totally.
You know what I'm saying? That's all. Mm-hmm. That's all I mean. I mean, yeah, in theory, if the Braves came back, made a good trade, won this division, and it was the NLDS again, and it was Philly versus Atlanta, I would still feel confident that the Phillies still could have their numbers, still beat them. I mean, I wouldn't say just because they didn't win the East that the season was over. You know what I'm saying? But but I feel like if you blow, even though a 6-game lead is not insurmountable, the fact that the Phillies are playing this good a ball and the Braves are this beat up. If you do blow a 6-game lead versus them, I think they really screwed up.
But as beat up as they are, Jay, they're still 30-21. I mean,
yeah, I understand that. Yeah, but in all fairness, Acuna just got hurt the other day. I mean, let's see. Let's see. I still think the Braves are a good team, Acuna or no Acuna. You know what I mean? Right. But let's see what happens over the course of the next, 4, 5, 6 weeks. Let's see how they're doing. You know what I mean?
I agree. Yep.
So, but anyway, we're going to get ready to wrap up here. We got we have enough for any football fans out there. We got a show coming on at 8. What time is it? Oh,
I think it's 8:30.
I didn't even know. I didn't even realize what time it was.
Oh, it's 5 after 8 now. It's 5 after 8.
All right. So at 8:30. Any football fans out there, there's a show coming on called Commander's Gridiron. So make sure you check that out. And all right, Dave, we're going to wrap up here. We'll be back in a few weeks. Yeah, who knows? That's one thing, dude, with doing this show every few weeks. A lot of times the landscape of Major League Baseball changes a lot, but in between these shows, This is true. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So who knows? By the time we do this, John, next. A team like the Astros could have gone on like a 10, 12-game winning streak. You know what I'm saying?
True.
You never even know.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right. Well, we're going to get ready to wrap up. And good luck to anybody out there that plays fantasy baseball. Good luck on all your bets. And basically, good luck to everybody but the Braves. Let's see. Braves, Nationals. You know what? You guys could be halfway competitive. You're not really a threat to us. Mets, screw you guys. And the Marlins, you guys blow. So, all right. Have a good one, everybody. We'll see you in a few weeks.
Later. Yep.